The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Nikiski Fire, Alaska, job number 30791. Please utilize this job number when referencing your vehicle with Hughes Fire Equipment or Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started with the front of your apparatus. Starting on the front bumper just below, there are two attachment points. Moving to the center of your apparatus on the bumper is a grinder. There are two adjacent air horns, an electronic siren, large diameter intake, a cover. Moving to the outside, there are two marker lights. Moving inward, you have the low beam headlights. In that same cluster, you have the high beam headlights. Moving up from that location to the next cluster, a right and left turn signal. And on the inside of that light cluster are an emergency light. And moving upward onto the cab, there are an additional emergency light. There are three wiper blades on this apparatus. At the very top, there are 5 marker lights. You have a full width light bar. Mounted in the center is an opticom. 2 independent spotlights. A light bar in the very front. Notice on the driver's side, inside the window in the cab, is the serial number. On the exterior of your apparatus, you have 3 marker lights, front, mid, and rear, in addition with 3 emergency lights, front, mid-cab, and mid-chassis, in addition with lights for steps, and you have 2 sets of wheel chocks on both right and left side, in addition with a variety of grab handles, driver's side dump, telescoping floodlight, a visual water tank indicator level. We'll have a closer look at these independent compartments and what is involved in each of those, but the 2 that we're highlighting here is your DEF and diesel fuel. At the very top you have emergency lights. Once again, a telescoping floodlight, a fixed floodlight. At the rear of the apparatus in this cluster, you have your brake lights. At the very bottom of the cluster are the reverse lights. You have a right and left turn arrow indicator, an emergency light. There are a variety of step lights on the apparatus. There are 2 closed tow hooks at the very back, or attachment points. There are 2 fold-down steps. There are switches in the very back that control the work lights, the overhead floodlights, and the above bay storage where you would store the hose. In addition, you have right and left ladder storage, and at the very top, large suction diameter storage. This is your rear dump. A 2.5 intake. Water level indicator. Backup camera. Rear floodlight. 2 2.5-inch discharge ports.
Once again, a variety of grab handrails, overhead rear floods. Looking at the side of your apparatus, once again, there are marker lights in the rear, mid, and front of the apparatus, in addition with emergency lights on both rear, mid cab, and front. You have step lights in the front. In addition, a visual water tank level indicator, a passenger side dump, this is the front large diameter intake. Looking inside this area, there is an electrical cord reel with a junction box. The push to rewind the electrical reel. This is a stopper so that the wheel does not continue to spool. This is a 120, 20 amp, 200 feet long reel. On the driver's side, there is an air inlet chuck. Looking at the cab on the inside of the driver's side, this is the auto charger. Take note, there are various warning and caution labels located throughout the apparatus. This is the driver's side Pierce indication information placard. There are a variety of different safety labels to please take note of, in addition with caution and warning labels. Looking at the Pierce manufactured placard, this was manufactured September of 2017. Your job number is 30791. Also indications for gross vehicle weight, tire pressure, rim size, identification VIN number, additional fluid capacities, and the types of fluids that are required by Pierce Manufacturing. Moving to the left-hand side, just by the driver's left knee, is the battery switch. It's a quarter-turn on-off rocker switch. There is an engine transmission diagnostic port. There is a variety of switches for ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostic switch, and a regen inhibit switch. Also on the left-hand side is a full control go light, which operates on top of the apparatus with an indicator light, an on-off switch, and a movable switch to control the light. Moving to the right-hand side is your interaxle differential lock with a illuminating light to indicate that it is in the locked position. Once again, on the driver's side, there is your pump shift. Please follow the instructions for road to pump or the opposite from pump to road. There is a green indicator light indicating that the pump has been engaged and that it is okay to pump. Once these two have been activated, follow the instructions for pumping. Generalized view of the knee area for the driver operator. To the left of the driver operator is the ignition switch. Just above that is the start switch. Moving to the right-hand side is the emergency master switch. Also moving to the right of that are your headlights for running lights and headlights. There is an additional rocker panel switch for dimming of your panel lights. There is a high idle on switch with an OK idle green indicator. Starting on the left-hand side of your dash, you have your transmission temperature, oil pressure, DEF level, water temperature, tachometer, speedometer, volts, front air, fuel level, rear air. You have a variety of indicator or help information switch lights. As a generalized view of the right-hand side of the driver operator seat, you have a backup camera and side camera viewing monitor, master dump, driver side dump, passenger side dump, and the rear dump. This is your generator PTO, the generator on-off switch, which the GTO or the PTO must be engaged. Engine on-off for the brake, your engine brake for high, medium, and low activation, off-road traction, a front wheel lock, mirror heat, and your load manager. On the right-hand side is your push turn on for your windshield wipers, your system parking brake, which is your maxi brake, the Allison transmission pad, climate control. Once again, under the climate control, there are caution and warning labels. This is your mirror control for the flat mirror and for the convex mirror. Over the driver operator's head, there is the emergency master, your Opticom switch, a location for future switches, which is currently a blank space, your siren or horn, electronic siren, mechanical siren selector, the mechanical siren brake, driver side floodlight, passenger side floodlight, driver side scene, passenger side scene, rear ground scene, and your perimeter lights. Moving just to the right of that, you have the brow light master and the brow light wide, brow light narrow, brow light spot, moose light, rear scene. This is a lanyard for your air horn. Make note of the height, length, and gross vehicle weight rating. This is on the A pillar on the driver's side. This is your VIN number. Looking from the front to the rear of the apparatus, the inside roll-up compartment storage. Over the center is the Federal Signal PA300 for your siren. On the right-hand side or passenger side, this is the fill for windshield wiper. You have an air horn and a mechanical siren button. You have two 12-volt outlets. You have an emergency door open or compartment open light. Your main radio, Just above that was your PA. This is the Pierce indication for weight on individual seats that they're occupying. This is the fire comm system. This is your go light, controlling on, off, and control of it. This is a close-up to indicate your seatbelt has been activated if someone is sitting in the seat or not. Once again, a close-up of the fire comm system. Underneath that is the wireless fire comm system, and then to the right of that is the go light for your independently controlled spotlight. You have various lights throughout the apparatus in addition with SCBA storage. In the center compartment, you have adjustable shelves with LED lighting and a roll-up door. This is the access point to access for checking fluids for oil and transmission. On the passenger and driver's side of the vehicle, there is a side-facing camera, shoreline inlet for 120 20 amp. Let's take a general appearance look here at your pump panel, and we'll break down and get a little bit more in-depth in the pump panel as we proceed forward. At the very top, you have foam level for tank A and for foam level tank B. You have your foam husky indicator. To the right of that is your pump intake, your pump discharge, vacuum and pressure monitoring gauges, where you would supply that to check for pressure. These are your independent foam or husky foam system. They are color-coded to the individual valve that is being utilized in crosslays. For example, yellow in crosslay 1 controls the discharge of crosslay 1. On the right-hand side is the floodlight, passenger side floodlight. As you can see, this is the top of your deluge discharge valve. It is a wheel valve. This is your foam system activation for on-off and your selections for tank A or tank B. You have an additional exterior air horn, and you have a driver's scene light. You also have the Pierce master throttle indicator. You have panel light. Once again, this is your on-off switch for your foam system. This is your compressor for CAF's foam control section. As a close-up looking, this is your running board hose tray. To the right of that is your number 2 passenger side discharge. Note that they are color-coded to make it easier for individuals using those. This is a large diameter discharge. Once again, this is your Hale primer. Moving over to the left-hand side is your Pierce placard to indicate your pump pressures. This is your Husky system for manual override of your foam system. This is an indication for your water level, currently indicating empty. On the very top is the tank to pump, and below that is a tank to pump. You have 2 front and rear discharge for your master valves, and you have a number 3 discharge. Moving across to the other side is your manual override. This is your master intake. This is your foam inlet with a strainer inside. To the left-hand side, all of these other gauges are levers are drains, and you can see the direction in which they move. And across the very bottom are the variety of different discharges for drains, color-coded to indicate which one you are activating. As you can see, you have red, blue, and kind of a grayish-brown color. In that writing, there is also what it is controlling for draining. To the right of that is your master pump drain and additional drain valves. At the very top, let's talk about your compressor. This is the generator PTO must be engaged for CAFs to operate. This is the Pierce, once again, information placard with a job number and your 150, 200, and 250 PSI. Once again, individual drain turn valves to drain all of your drain lines. This is your foam inlet. This is a driver's side auxiliary inlet. This is a cab crosslays for crosslays number 1. This is your visual tank level indicator from green, blue, orange to red. This is a shallow by your pump panel tub for hose storage. Just beneath that is the driver's side, driver main, and passenger main drain valves. Just above that, you can see as we have another close-up picture of these images. This is your battery charger from 110 shore power. There is also an additional plug-in which is breakered off of the red breaker switch, in addition with adjustable shelves, a pull-out shelf, to the left-hand side is your 110 breaker box for shore power. A close-up of the AC voltages. Once again, a close-up of your breaker box, and on the right-hand side is a 12-volt DC termination block. This is the information regarding that power supply and the ratings of that power supply. This is your DEF fill, which is to the front of the tire. This is a 120 20 amp power outlet. This is your side port to tank dump. This is your low sulfur fuel diesel. This is bottle storage. You have additional wheel chocks both on the right and left hand side of the apparatus to the rear. A pull-out rear shelf in the roll-up door with LED lighting in all of the compartments. On the rear of your apparatus, indicating the dump valve here in the center. There is long storage, which is ladder storage. At the very top, both right and left side, are your hoses for drafting. On the right-hand side, you have a 14-foot and a 24-foot extension ladder. At the very top of that, you also have a 10-foot folding attic ladder. And to the other left-hand side of that attic ladder, there are 2 long pole storage locations for pike poles. At the very bottom, there is an open compartment for storage at the deck level, in addition with the 2 closed eyelets for anchor points. On the right-hand side of the apparatus, there is an adjustable shelf with LED lighting on a roll-up door. Once again, additional bottle storage. This is the passenger side dump. Once again, 120 VAC 20 amp outlet. Just in front of that is additional bottle storage. In the midship section of the passenger side, there is a latch that opens this pegboard area for both tools on front and back, and adjustable shelving. There are a variety of midship work lights, a 2.5 inch discharge port, a large diameter discharge port, large diameter intake, 2.5 inch intake. This is your foam intake. You also have a variety of different drain valves located in the very bottom, and on the very right hand side is your cab tilt. You have tub storage underneath the main portion of the step. This is a close-up look at the cab tilt for raising and lowering and activation. Please read the caution and warning labels prior to use. These are the two intercompartmental foam A and foam B drains. This is your water storage, which was behind all of the individual doors on the pump panel. This is your water flow transmitter. This is an additional front drain discharge. Located at the very top are the telescoping floodlights. Moving inward, you have an in-mounted work light, your deck gun. This is your fill for tank A foam. This is the fill for tank B foam. This is your fill for water. This is hydraulic fluid reservoir. Congratulations on your new apparatus, job number 30791. If you have any questions, please contact your Hughes Fire salesperson.